E estamos de volta. Desculpe a demora. Vou só tentar terminar as missões aqui do Starfield pra mim poder comprar uma casa, pra virar cidadão da UC. E a gente deve ir pra algum outro jogo.
Look, I wouldn't engage directly if you can avoid it. The kill lanes, they're set up but need power. There's breakers on each of the buildings you can throw to get them live. Once they're online, lead the terramorph towards the lights and watch the fireworks. Give it hell, Vanguard.
System rearm. Fail. Additional power required. Additional power input required. Local defenses restored. Additional power required. Weapon group activated. Stand clear.
Aí, olha como esse terromorfo é forte. Terromorfo. Véi, eu matei o termorfo ali e o cara simplesmente morreu aqui. Que lombra.
Trekker's gone quiet. I suspect it's either hiding or... Wait. You did it, didn't you? Heavens above! You just flatlined a terramorph! I'm not too proud. Thank you for saving my ass. You didn't happen to grab me a tissue sample, did you? All right. I spotted a microscope downstairs. Let's see if we can't get to the bottom of this. You can do. Running basic diagnostics? Nothing. Maybe a flag scan? No. Spectrograph. Damn. This equipment, it's not set up to do a proper analysis of our sample. But this terramorph being here, of all places, it doesn't make sense. Humanity's spread plenty of creatures in our travels across the stars. Pets, livestock, pests. But terramorphs? They're different. To our knowledge, no one's ever spread them intentionally. Yet somehow, they follow us. So when humans settle a world, 70 to 100 years later, terramorphs tend to just appear. No one knows how or why. Dangerous, but at least predictable. Talseti, though, it's too young to have a native population. It's only been colonized 20 years? But then the other option, that someone captured one of the deadliest predators in the galaxy just to wipe out some settlers minding their own business? That seems awfully implausible. Which means we're either looking at a truly strange murder or a faster type of terramorph growth, the results of which could be catastrophic. Terramorph outbreaks have taken down far bigger colonies than this one. You're right. We don't have enough information. Time was, I had access to one of the best repositories of terramorph research in the galaxy. Seems a natural place to start looking, if I can figure how to access it. But we also need to get this sample properly analyzed, get confirmation on just how concerned we should be. Luckily, I think I know just the person to help with the sample. What would you say to delivering this to him for me? I'd do it myself, but I need to call in some favors. See if I can't get access to that terramorph data. Plus, maybe just pop by a hospital for a little bit. Clear it with your commander first if you have to. You can even show them this. My gene tag. Tell them Hadrian Sanan is worried there could be more attacks on the horizon. They should recognize the name. I was. Long time ago. Family tradition. But I know some of the folks from my old unit moved into the Vanguard. A couple even owe me favors. If I'm lucky, your commander is one of them. Oh, you don't understand what a weight off my shoulders that is. I need Dr. Percival Walker to put together a sample analysis for this thing. Full workup. I'm not sure exactly where to find him, but last I heard he was contracting with the Trade Authority on Mars. There's a place called the Sixth Circle in Sidonia. And here, it's not exactly a bounty, but you certainly deserve them. Should cover the cost of fuel to Mars, at least. Now please, go check in with your commander. We need to know what we're dealing with.
A missão dos Terromor foi bem
Should we
interessante.
grab a drink at the viewport for old time's sake?
You know, I went to chef school. This ain't exactly where I saw myself.
Look who's back. All set with that probationary?
A terror? What? How did you walk away with the terramorph tissue sample running comms?
A gene tag? Sanan. Let me check the database. Huh. A lot of this data's been classified. Here we go. Service record. Wow. Co-head of a UC Xenoweapons division. Faced tribunal at the end of the colony war. Guess that's why I'd heard the name before. If she's former Xeno warfare, though, well, we can at least be sure she knows. I'm sure she doesn't list it at the top of her resume. But considering her service record and her area of expertise, I'm not seeing a reason. Did your survivor, Hadrian, did she mention why she thinks this sample's so special? She thinks there could be more of these? Well, this is one of the more surprising debriefs I've ever been a part of. But if Hadrian Sanan thinks this sample needs to get to Mars, then we're gonna make sure it gets to Mars. I'll take care of the clearances and ensure you get your credits. Consider these your first official in here, so everyone knows you're working with the Vanguard. Welcome to the Navy, Captain. Vanguard's also got some custom ship modifications. You'll be cleared for access to them next time you're down at the spaceport. Talk to ship services. Now, if there wasn't anything else, I suggest you move out.
Entrei pra vanguarda.
Another day? I think I got them,
Hey, what can I do? Need some work done? You the courier? I've been Star Parcel has your payment right here. In
2.500. Deixa eu ver as naves que você tem a
I'm
ver.
sure you can find something you like.
Rainbow. Shootbreaker. Bonitinha. Narcisos. Kiefer. Tamanho das bombas. Eu ia trocar todas as armas. Calma. Espera.
Sure, have at it.
Hum. Primeira coisa que a gente vê é sempre isso aqui. Velho. Olha meu dano de míssil, que absurdo, velho. Balístico 204. Vamos ver se tem algum maior. Não tem. Ó. 24.000, que dá 88.000. Vamos ver aqui. Se eu tenho algum motor que supera esse. Que é esse aqui, ó. Basicamente, 26.000. Ó. 26.040. 28.040, velho. Olha, 34.000. Deixa eu tentar botar ele. Não é esse. Não, tem 9 de mobilidade, vamos ver. Com 2 motores, a nave. Hum. Obrigado, amor. Obrigado. Ó, outra. E aí, Kobayashi, tô fazendo uma grande justamente pra girador de escudo. Aí. E aí, guribom? Cara, tem tempo que você não aparece, velho. Deixa eu salvar, né? Que, putz, deu trabalho. Imagino. Eu fiquei um tempinho sem fazer live também. Tá, a gente precisa ir pra Sidônia. Ah, não, tranquilo. Quando eu ver, eu vou ficar lá no Luckzinho. É que esse jogo em si tá bastante pesado. Não, eu te entendo. Eu também tô. Eu tô até vendo o negócio da minha pós também.
I admire anyone tough enough to live out here.
Ixi, eu já consegui pousar direto. Preciso testar minha nave. Eu tava com mobilidade de 50. Aí eu tô indo pra terceira pós. É o Starfield. É o da Bethesda. Que o pessoal tá atacando um hate violento. Vamos ver rapidinho. Eu não sei se já tava. É, imaginei quando você perguntou. Eu não tinha trocado.
We're supposed to clean up then.
Hey, welcome to the Sidonia Trade Authority. Cool,
Sim.
that's what we do here.
A primeira coisa a gente compra de hack. Segunda coisa a gente vende algumas coisinhas. E parece que eu fabrico isso aqui, velho. Aí sim. Ai! Devolve meu coração de Marte. Devolve. É tanta coisa.
Sounds like
Quer
a
ver que eu
plan.
vim...
I can also take
Isso é
some
o que tá na minha
off the
nave.
list, if that's something you're interested in.
Aí, vendi sem querer, velho. Ah. Uhum. Ixi, eu zerei ele. Deve ter vendido coisa de graça e nem sei.
Come back anytime.
Invoices can be collected from the... Oh.
É, eu fabrico
I'm
essas
here
coisas aí
for
do
a
nada.
delivery. Are you?
Do you now? Well, I do wish I could help you, Captain, but Dr. Walker has been missing for some time.
A shame, too. We had such high hopes for Percival. I brought him on myself to do medical and biological consulting around the city. Not the sort of work the Trade Authority traditionally does. But we thought it had the potential to become a whole new type of revenue stream for our branch. I invested no small amount of personal capital into the endeavor. But then he decided to run off after a discipline issue. I presume the miners have him hidden somewhere. Plenty of cracks on this old rock. But at this point, it's probably for the best.
That won't be necessary. The Trade Authority isn't interested in employing someone so unreliable. But we would like the money he owes us. If you can convince him to pay his debts, we'd be most grateful. Wonderful.
I suggest paying a visit to the Sixth Circle, what I suppose is technically a bar on the lowest level of the city. If anyone knows where Percival is, the miscreants there would. But I would urge caution. They're not a group known for their hospitality.
Eu também não sou muito hospitaleiro, não. Comprar digihack.
We got a lot of good stuff. Take a look.
Putz, ele não vende digihack.
See you later, friendo. You don't think Woodard is going to crack down on... Be safe out there.
Ah, mas se tu pegar os jogos hoje em dia 4K, é muito difícil ter uma placa que aguente realmente manter, pô. 4K é muito pesado os jogos.
Broken spear's upstairs. Go drown yourself there. This bar's for devil's vets and their kin.
Doc Walker? You're barking up the wrong...
Andy, you. Why don't you come here and
Tell me what some stray wants with Walker. Not every day a stray topsider wanders into my bar claiming they know people. What do you want with Dr. Walker? That's so. Now, if that tag's a forgery, it's a damn good one. All right. Maybe she did send you. Or maybe you just know where to buy your fakes. But look, even if I decided I was going to help you get in contact with Dr. Walker, Percival made himself scarce for a reason. His debt to the Trade Authority. But if someone resolved that debt, well, Percival wouldn't have to hide anymore. Can bet that person would make a friend out of Percival, and the rest of us devils. And I'm always inclined to help a friend. Red Devils were the meanest Marine unit the UC Navy ever had. Couldn't get in if you hadn't done at least one stint as a Martian Dusty. Made us tough. Reliable. That's why they chose us as the handlers for the UC Xeno weapons. No other unit could handle that pressure. Percival, though, he wasn't a grunt like all of us. Science officer. Made sure the monsters behaved themselves around the Devils. And didn't with everyone else. But it was those monsters that did us in. When the colony war ended and the armistice came down, everything associated with Xeno weapons got shelved. Red Devils included. Now they're just a memory. Me? Nah. Infantry officer. But my grunts deployed alongside the things. Never seen anything like it. Before or since. Monsters from the darkest corners of the Black, rampaging across the battlefield. Can understand why they banned them. Brutal. Armistice hurt us more than most, but... wow. Wasn't all bad that came out of that agreement.
Sim, depende da otimização. Mas eu não achei a otimização desse jogo ruim, não.
The way to take care of this debt would be to just saunter up to the authority and pay him direct. If you've got credits to throw away. Of course, rumor is the Trade Authority keeps all their records and collections files on a central server inside their storeroom. If someone was to break in there and adjust Percival's debt to something a little more reasonable, say a few hundred credits, I'd be happy to cover the costs. But one friend of Hadrian's to another, Sidonia's full of old utility spaces. Wouldn't be surprised if there was one that let out right into the authority storeroom. Say, with an entrance behind the bar at the Broken Spear. Ooh, and you might need these. And I look forward to hearing the good news.
Hey, you may be Hadrian's friend. Come here.
All citizens are welcome and encouraged to make use of the Sidonia Community Center on this level for activities of all sorts. Seek a community center representative.
Heard you talking with Lou, so you're going to help Dr. Walker? Yeah, sure. Listen, I know how you can do it without having to resort to any... B&E. Aqueous hematite. Mars is full of it. People think it's just garbage, but Percival and I, we've been working on some projects in the deep mines. At least when he wasn't slaving away at his Trade Authority contract. But we stumbled on a way to make it useful and profitable. You give our research over to Octai at the Trade Authority, it should more than cover Percival's debt. That guy's always looking for an angle. Well, yeah. We were never able to finish the research. Spacers moved in and ran us out. Started setting up shop. But if you can clear them out, I can walk you through how to finish the research. Then you can give it over to the Trade Authority. They'll get folks working in the deep mines again. jobs come back, I become a modern-day folk hero, then I don't have to sleep on an inflated spacesuit anymore. Great, great. So access to the deep mines can be found outside the city. It's not far. Shouldn't even need to hop back in your ship. We'd set up right near the main drill. Taking out the spacer leader should get the message across to the rest of... Once you've managed that, phone up here on the comms panel, and I can walk you through finishing the research.
Em real, pra mim parece mais fácil usar o Digihack. Isso não dá. Isso não dá. Esse dá. Esse não dá. Esse dá. E esse. Esse também. Esse aqui tem. Mais 21.
Do you have a child or children between the ages of 5 to 18? Enroll them in a united... Colonies distance learning program today. Your children will be provided with routine programs teaching them art.
21.000.
mathematics, history, and more, all in the comfort of your own home. Put your children on
Time. And ask me if you need
and enroll today.
Yeah? Not something you want to say too loud now, but good.
Was there something else? Do you now? Let me take a look. That's not the number I remember. Headquarters. Here. His current balance. I expect this won't be a great hardship.
Then I suppose that's that. You have my thanks. Oh, and if you do find him, please let person...
Não, tranquilo, bem. Eu vou estar até direitão. Lá pelas 11.
Yeah. It's done, eh? My end of the bargain then, I suppose. He's holed up in the old Red Devil's HQ. Place was sealed up tight after the UC shuttered our unit, but we snuck him in the back entrance through the deep mines. Good you're going in there, actually. Bunch of spacers moved in, not long after we got Percival set up. Don't expect he'd run out before they got taken care of, but I'm sure he'll appreciate not having to find out if I left him with enough rations. Here, the passkey. And I'll let him know there's someone he owes one hell of a thank you on their way down.
No final das contas, eu vou ter que matar os federais.
Inspect your ship for heat leeches every couple landings. They'll cause plenty of havoc if left unchecked.
Tá, primeiro eu vou lá em Wolf. Vender minhas armas roubadas. E logo com ele. escola. Tô do lado do sistema de Wolf. Véi, meu motor tem 2.200 litros.
If something's on your mind, you can
Tranquilo, valeu pela noitinha, Léo.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the thing.
Hello, Captain.
If you're ever in New Atlantis...
Was there something you need? Certainly.
I don't think my messages to SSNN...
If there's anything I can do for you, please. Certainly.
Got anything you need to offload? Trade authorities always buy. Here.
My attention, Captain.
Doido pra comprar casa, não tô conseguindo. Ei, Vicky, como é que você tá? Vicky, você que é viciado ainda no DBD, me diz que já voltou as lanternas? Mano. Ah, tá, não tem um ponto não. Pelo que eu entendi, posso estar errado também, quem criou os terromorfos foram os próprios humanos, velho. Vou descobrir mais que esse Percival.
This place ain't for the likes. Leave before I make you.
I'm hit! I'm losing blood here!
Boto na pessoa errada. Tô bem sim, e você, Vic? Como é que você tá?
Shit! No one's dying over!
Tô meio dodói, garganta. Vixe, tem que cuidar. Eu te entendo perfeitamente. Tô com a tosse já tem que umas 2 semanas ou mais. Tá parecendo até que eu tô viciado em xarope. Eu já tô no 3º vidrinho. No. O que é o mestre de hack?
Yeah, you keep running. This is gonna be fun.
can't say I don't appreciate it, but I doubt you came all this way just to do me a favor. Now you want to explain to me why you're going around harassing nefarious old men by wiping away their hard-earned debts? Tissue sample? You came all the way down here for that? Must be some damn important cells. You want to tell me what I'm about to be staring at? A fast-growing terramorph. That is concerning. Who exactly told you to bring this to me? Hadrian. She gave you this? If she made you come all the way for this... Let's get inside. I need to see these cells. Gonna ask you to not touch anything. Got some projects in the works down here, and I wasn't expecting guests. Oh, and Lou mentioned how you took care of the debt. Managed to, negotiate it down to something more reasonable. Good to see someone give the Trade Authority a bit of their own medicine. All queued up. Let's gaze into this abyss, shall we? All right, just get those cellular markers tagged. Wait, where are the markers? This can't be right. This sample, it's Londinian. I'll need to get this all in a slate. Adrian really gave you this sample. You're not lying to me? Because if you told me this was a hoax, and it'd be the best damn fake I've ever seen, I'd be mad and very, very relieved. She was disconcertingly correct, trying a little habit of Adrian's. Which is why, if you wanted to have your film crew jump out and yell surprise, I wouldn't be saddened in the least. Can't just humor an old man, huh? This sample, it's got all the indicators of the worst terramorph attack in human history. I presume you've heard of Londinian. It was a city wiped completely off the map by terramorphs. The swarms were so bad, they had to blow the spaceport and seal the place off from the galaxy at large. Not a lot of samples made it off the world from the time of the attack, but the ones that did, well, they look just like this one. I didn't detect any of the telltale signatures this specimen ever sat on a ship while it was alive, either. I don't think it was transported to Tal Ceti. This specimen, it grew there, faster than any terramorph should. Which means, if we're about to start a new era in human-terramorph relations, where big, sudden Londinian-style attacks can happen outside Londinian, that's not gonna end well for humanity. So, you lugged this bad omen all the way here. You want to tell me what your plans are for it now? Because until now, the terramorphs that wiped out Londinian had the good sense to stay put. What happened there? It was a tragedy, but at least it was contained. So to find evidence for a similar attack on a different world, well, we don't have enough information to know precisely what this means. But I doubt it's good. So I'd love to know what it is you're planning from here. The circle, huh? Could use a drink about now. Here, faster we take the lift to the surface. Not supposed to use it, but given the circumstances, I'm inclined to just ask forgiveness. Let's get going.
is pleasant to see you.
Sidonia can have a depressing effect on them.
Adrian.
Percival. My God, look at you. You're an old man now.
You're no hassling yourself anymore, Major. Our friend here showed me your sample. Suffice it to say,
Not here. Let's talk somewhere more private. Lou said we could use the back.
Not a lot of folks, but it might be time I... Was that Percival walking through there with you? Oh, glad to see he's still...
Lou gave me the abridged version of what went down. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for taking care of all that.
makes two of us.
I hope it ultimately didn't end up being too much trouble. That's certainly not what I was expecting you'd have to go through. But thank you. I'm just glad you both came through intact. So, were you two able to get that workup together?
Got it right here. That sample? It's an exact match for the ones from Londinian.
Londinian. That's exactly what I was afraid of.
Not thrilled to be the bearer of that kind of news. That's for damn sure. So tell me you've got some kind of plan for that workup.
Well, right now, we've got more questions than answers. So I've been trying to figure out what it's gonna take to access our old Terramorph data.
Good place to start. What'd you find?
It's in the archives.
The Armistice Archives? Doesn't that mean we'd be dealing with the Cabinet? And the Freestar Collective? And House Varun somehow? Guess we can kiss that approach goodbye.
I didn't think the Cabinet would be willing to hear us out either. But I called in some favors. They've agreed to hear us out on two conditions. One, they want to see this analysis you two have procured. And two, they want to discuss what happened on Tau Ceti with both of us. The Cabinet's the UC's highest governing body. The President, top military brass, scientific and diplomatic division heads. Any major decision the UC makes goes through them. They're the only real chance we've got of unlocking the archives. So without their blessing, we're flying blind. Well, when the Colony War came to a close 19 years ago, with the signing of the armistice, 3 factions were involved in the negotiations. The UC, Freestar, and House Varun. They made a lot of decisions about what sort of tactics should and shouldn't be permitted in future conflicts. All information related to the things they decided should be banned was locked away in the archives. Now, it's possible to get things out of there, but only with the agreement of members from all 3 factions. And as to what our research is doing in there, well, I'll get to that. Of course, you deserve the full story. Percival and I, we're not just researchers. We were military scientists, ran a division of the UC together that deployed aliens on the battlefield as weapons.
Place I was hiding out. That was our unit's home base.
After some early fits and starts at other facilities, the place eventually became the heart of UC xeno-warfare. A practice that's been banned ever since the armistice went into effect almost 20 years ago. And the UC military cut us loose for what we'd done. No. We were both dismissed after the war for what we did. These days, we're just concerned citizens with a very particular area of expertise. Our damage has been done for a long time. Well, it was during that assignment that the UC asked us to explore deploying terramorphs on the battlefield. The project never got off the ground, but the data our team gathered is now sitting in the archives, along with all the other information banned after the Colony War. Under the watchful eye of monitors from all the galactic factions still participating in regular politics. But if we can convince the cabinet to help us access that data, it'll give us the tools we need to decipher what exactly this sample might mean. And hopefully, how to prevent more attacks like the one that spawned it. I mean, I hope they will, given the evidence we've acquired. But getting the Freestar Collective and House Varun on our side, that won't be easy.
Since neither group is exactly on great terms with the UC at the moment, for various reasons.
Exactly. It's going to mean negotiations and deals and plenty of diplomatic legwork to see this through. But I don't see a better option to solving what's going on here. So it's gonna be up to us to get them on board. Because the Terramorph project was doomed from the start. Terramorphs are too mean, too smart, too hungry to be used in combat. Trust us, we tried. The data that's in the archives, it's historical write-ups, anatomical notation, food chain analyses. I doubt they would have even classified it if it didn't have a Xeno-warfare logo on it. You have my word. It's not a threat. All right. I'm gonna go get this work up into the cabinet's hands. I'll meet you out front of Mast in New Atlantis.
Good luck. You two are gonna need it.
Thanks for stopping to chat. Back under the heel of the boot.
Captain! Over here! The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming. So, in the interest of full disclosure, my relationship with the UC, it's more complicated than it might. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus, woe to the defeated, in Old Earth Latin, a title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was The UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. I'm the last. A few of my siblings, they passed when we were young. Training accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the Colony War, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't think about what the world would look like with them still in it. He would have happily told you he was one of the greats. Ultimately, though, it didn't matter. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar Collective and UC. Military and civilians. And the things he did, well, they're a part of the reason the UC and Freestar Collective aren't really on great terms to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. My areas of expertise are pretty specific, but messed up families are up there. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here. Well, thinking about it more, I suspect there'd be value in sharing the fact that the Terramorph project was, well, a failure. There's no need to be afraid of this data being weaponized. Knowing that should calm some of the cabinet's fears and make it easier for us to dispel any suspicions the other factions might have about our intentions. That's actually a souvenir from my time on Mars. The Red Devils unit I was a part of, they were founded by recruits who'd worked some of Mars' deepest mines. Folks used to adversity. The dust at those depths, it seeps into everything. The human eye included. Where the name Red Devils came from in the first place. It became an unwritten rite of passage that anyone wanting to enlist with the Devils had to do a stint in the mines before they could join up. The Devils were always talked about in such revered tones during my training, so as soon as I was old enough, I signed up. And the eyes were my parting gift. I mean, we never spent a lot of time together. He was too busy being Fleet Admiral to deal with kids. I was raised by a pair of guardians instead. Until his defeat during the Colony War, though, he was known as an extremely effective commander. Savvy, perceptive. That mind opened a lot of doors for him. And for me too. But Vivictus, for all his ability, was heartless. Ruthless to a fault. In the end, that's what cost him his life. Then I guess it's just a...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
That's quite the leap, Captain. Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic. And at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request?
Com certeza, porque eu quero saber mais também.
I'm inclined to agree.
As am I.
I suppose that does get to the heart of the point, doesn't it? Very well. I consent. The galaxy was lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that? Incident.
Um minutinho, já volto.
Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack.
at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Terramorphs. More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God. There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanners somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support?
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Going to take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
It's never easy, you know.
Captain, I'm right behind
Making
you.
decisions
Let's get down
could end the lives of soldiers pledged to your cause.
No meio de... Oh, gente, sai da porra do elevador.
You! The EM rifle, grab it! Now!
That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got.
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting, I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet. You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. I'm not suggesting. It's document. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just shrug it off. Others, and some, lose control altogether. They'll lash out, and in those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with EM fire, or...
That's unlocked. Please, do what you can to help.
Valeu pela hidratação aí. Legal, o jogo tá falando que eu não posso usar. O veículo em combate. Que bonito. Vamos voltar um pouquinho aqui, que ele bugou, né? Aguardar responder. Há 7 minutos. Em combate.
The EM rifle, grab it! Now!
Now hit him with everything you've got! We're trying to help you! away those people.
We tried, but some of the other...
Pheromonic project. Some terrible. It affects everyone. You kill the more. I'm not suggesting. The result of the... And some, those cases. Let's do it.
That's unlocked.
Eu só tinha bugado a missão mesmo.
God, no time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move.
Has been issued for the spaceport district. All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
You might back up. Don't just stand there. Hey!
Captain, you're going to be okay. It's not real. Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real. We have to put down that board. You can't beat it. It's too strong. Give up now. You won't be leaving here alive.
Esses termos são muito fortes.
Someone is going to kill you.
Help! They're gonna kill us. Please, help!
Surrounded. All around. No way out.
Closer. Closer. Closer now.
Wait, officer? Are you and this woman experts? Take whatever we can get right now.
Que difícil.
We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, but we're barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before, huh? Well, one fire team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over any more of my men. Put those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can. Don't let them get into your head. We're going to hold. We have to.
Heard you might be looking for some backup.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how to...
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about it. Roger that. We're on you.
Meu Deus, 3 terromorfos.
You left us. Why did you leave us? It's right there. They're going to betray you, every last one.
You've lost. You're never gonna win. They always win.
All wrapped up. We go tell the sergeant what happened.
Três terromorfos.
Thank the heavens you're back in one piece. Well, I guess our people weren't so lucky.
The few protecting the many.
And it would have been plenty more if it hadn't been for the two of you. The city owes you both a debt after this.
We were just in the right place at the right time.
Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all-clear signal before exiting your home.
Nothing's getting to the captain.
That's a relief to hear. Thank you, gentlemen. Captain? Hadrian? It would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today. As well as an apology. Your concerns about the terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
I had some ideas on that front, Captain, but we'll get to that. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks. But to accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the Cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The Cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative. We do. In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. Get you access to those credits and real estate you're after. So, will you help us?
Com certeza.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. We're dismissed.
You've got the cabinet's full backing to prevent more attacks. Understand?
Chief Yassine, these orders. A Vanguard captain. You... Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second-in-command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
Very funny. This is going to be hard enough already. Both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun? Ah, the good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable. Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code. Never underestimate the universe's ability to surprise. That's why we have Plan B. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Ambassador Balmore's a challenge, When the rest of House Varun
E
retreated
feraz.
into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmor stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval. Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varun did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy. It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice. Of course, but there is another wrinkle. We're not 100% sure Balmor is actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting. Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice. Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. It would at least be a speedier negotiation. But I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there. Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Hello.
E aí, Pãozinho? Boa noite.
Captain, Admiral Logan informed me of your part in halting the attacks. Hold.
our... You're good. Proceed inside.
Visitors are only allowed in the lobby, offices, Terribles, as in more than one? All that security. And they still can't protect their own spaceport. The UC never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment? Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. You have my thanks for what you did down there. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives. Some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right. Excuse me. A less level-headed person might think that was a threat, Captain. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go? You're really gonna push this? All right, I will give you one chance. One to convince me. Understood. I'm listening. The warmongers of the UC will find a way to make it dangerous. You have my word. I think we can work something out. Are you suggesting we can't defend ourselves? The result... Captain, I'm sorry, but my answer is not changing. The UC is just gonna...
That woman isn't... Oh, sorry. Oh, what? You're... You know, I was about to board the Nat to the spaceport when the alarm triggered. And, like, I've got you to thank for... Well, then you have my earnest thanks. But look, the ambassador likes to handle all that even if she does have trained diplomat. And I don't want to get shipped back to Aquila City, so... You should probably... What, you... Let's talk in my office.
Official business? Talk to the ambassador.
So you want me to work with you? think that's a pretty safe assumption. And no other city should have to go through what happened here. So then... Okay, first you need her bio key, and that thing doesn't leave her side. Her quarters. And you... and the Really? Okay, so there's a utility corridor that leads into the ambassador's quarters. Here, the key. Whatever you do, don't let the guard... I'll, no.
Patching in playback.
Cameron! Are you alright, Ambassador? It seems the Council of Governors has rejected my appeal to join. Again. Which means you and I are stuck in this colonial rat cage until we die. But I think we might need to... should expedite the process.
What are you getting at, ma'am?
I mean, my requests keep being rejected because they don't want to add a seat, right? But what if? What if one opened up? The mind of heart in what it used to be. It's not like anyone would miss him.
Eva, I think it's time to get some sleep.
Just think about it. Maybe we can reach out to some experts at that sort of thing, huh?
Good night, Eva.
Did I not make myself abundantly... Excuse me? No. If the council found out, I'd lose my position. Look, I believe we may have gotten off. So perhaps if I can trust you to keep this little secret between us, then maybe we... But where are my manners? Here, my pistol. Laredo. Custom made. Good. In fact, I think there's an opportunity here. Keep both our factions happy and ensure... I can only let you get the information on the Terramorphs. Anything else... And all research will need to be monitored. Freestar scientific observers making sure everything... But those two items should be enough to allay any suspicion. What on earth are you... Ah, yes. Now let's go get your code piece so you...
Sorry. Everyone's a little on edge after the attack.
They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. It is reassuring to know there are still some people in this universe you can trust. Here you go. I hope that'll be enough.